Hey everybody, this is Dal Stone here. How's everybody been doing? It's been a while since you guys have seen a Q&A video. So first off, let's get some housekeeping stuff out of the way. Check out my timestamps. That's where you're going to be able to find out your questions. I was going to break up all of these questions and stuff like that into its own videos, but I just, looking at my numbers and all that stuff, I just realized that it might not be worth my time, might not be worth your time to have individual videos. So I just do like a Q&A and just wrapping up all of the questions that I've had in the past. Kind of been gathering up and just gonna kind of go through them with you guys, and this video might end up being like an hour or so, just me going through everything that I've kind of learned and want to share with you. And I think it's just a little bit easier housekeeping wise for me just to kind of have these as one video. So this one goes back a super long time. Mario Capoto, sorry if I butchered your name there. Your question was how to export a UV map with Maya 2017. So I'm gonna quickly show you that right now. Let's see here. So in Maya, if you go to, I know you guys can't see this, the top bar up here, unfortunately. Maybe I can take the bars off. Yeah, so if you just go to, I probably should just put the bars at the bottom. Seems like the bottom is probably more important than the top. Maybe we'll see. Okay. Sorry, kind of went on a tangent. Go to UV. Go to UV editor. And if you don't, so there's different ways you can do this, right? You can go to UV editor. First way that I like to do is I like to go to panels and then save panels, perspective, UV editor, and this way it's easier for me to show show everyone how this is done. Obviously, when I'm modeling and doing my own stuff, I have my perspective on this screen, and then on my second screen I have what's that called? I have my UV editor on a different screen. It's pretty simple. I have Maya Update 3, so this might look a little bit different compared to you. But if you just take a look at this camera icon right here, if you click on that camera icon, it gives you like what kind of resolution do you want your UV image to be, where you want to place your UV image, and all that. And you just press OK, and it'll just shoot out your UVs onto a whatever kind of file you want, PSD, whatever you'd like. Now, let's say you're going to do it the way that I normally do it, UV editor. So with this new update, you're going to notice that there's like all these new tools and stuff like that now. Again, you just got to find that camera button. If you press that camera button, again, it goes through how to do it. I remember back in the day, it used to just be like in a file kind of thing, right? Where you just go and then there'd be like capture UVs. It seems like they've gone rid of it and have made a bunch of different menus. I actually prefer this new UV editor. It's a lot more complicated looking now because everything's broken up to different menus, but I think once you get the hang of it, it's actually a lot better. Again, you can go to image, UV snapshot, and same thing. Okay. All right. So that's the first question out of the way. The second one, let me just change back to, hold on, let me just change this stuff back. Nope, don't want that. Okay, so I'm getting used to this new OBS, so you're gonna see like transitions are a little bit weird. Hold on, this light is killing my, man, that light's harsh and it's like bouncing everywhere. Okay, second question was from Paco TCB. You commented asking how would I show normal maps, specular maps, etc. in a turntable in Marmoset Toolbag, and I've been looking everywhere to find the answer for this thing. It doesn't seem like Marmoset can do that. What Marmoset does really well though is they have like the Marmoset viewer, which allows you to kind of view your assets and people can choose how they want to see your asset and what kind of material mode. It's really weird that they don't have that in their rendering settings. So for me personally, and this might be out of date by the time that you see this, I don't know of a way to actually do that, to do a specific turntable only showing specific materials. The only hack around that I know of is maybe just turning off your albedo map, and then that way people can see your normal map. That's kind of the only way that I know how to do that right now. So I'm sorry, Pico TCB, that I couldn't find the answer for you. I tried, but it just couldn't do it. Couldn't find it for you. I'm sorry. What else is there? What else is there? Okay, so we had a few really good ones. Let's see. Okay, so Optic 500, you had a question. Thank you for your support, by the way. You said a few nice things. I feel that you're taking on too much without enough rest, which is important for your art as well. Or I could be wrong. You are correct. Rest is very, very, very important, and it does affect your art. Congrats on your teaching job. Thank you. You mind maybe if you have any tips on how to stay focused on keeping your energy level high, skydiving energy feeling, through working beginning to end, because my energy tends to dip though, then I go and then procrastinate on something you want to do in a game studio. Keep up the excellent work. So essentially it's just tips on keeping your energy level high. So for me, the most common thing is beverages, right? Things like coffee and tea and energy drinks. I used to drink energy drinks when I was younger. Now at this age, I definitely don't drink energy drinks anymore, just because my body doesn't digest things the way that it used to. And once you've weaned off the energy drinks and then you go back onto them, your body usually just hates you for it. So I've actually stopped drinking energy drinks, but now I drink coffee and tea quite often. But my favorite, and still one of my favorites, is water. Okay, and the reason being is I find that when I drink tons of water, it makes me go pee a lot. Now, this forces me to get up and almost like every hour or two to stretch my legs and empty the tank, right? And then refill my cup. That's one of my biggest secrets for staying awake and keeping my body fueled. So that is one of my biggest secrets, is just drinking tons of water, because sometimes you need your body just to get up and refocus, and just getting out of your chair sometimes is just enough, right? To stay focused on your goals and your tasks, I find that it's always important to reward yourself, right? Take a small break, play some games, do your hobbies, and most importantly, after you do all that, just reflect, right? Reflect on your goals that you've set for yourself, what you want to do, and how you're going to achieve them. So I think that's important. Just reward yourself. The things that you love doing, when you finish a project, when you finish a little mini personal project, reward yourself. Okay, that's really important to keep yourself motivated and your energy level high. Set goals, set realistic goals. Something that I've learned from work and a friend of mine is it's called SMART, I think it is. Specific, manageable. Hold on. I have this somewhere. I know I do. What is it? SMART goals. Let me see if I can just search this up. Here we go. Okay, specific, measurable, agreed upon, realistic, and time-based. Okay, so that's what SMART goals are. You can search it up on Google. There's a whole little thing on there. So SMART, SMART. Make sure that your goals are smart, essentially. Okay. Work on smaller projects, I think, is really important. This way you can put more detail into your projects, and you're not like grinding away and burning out. I think that's really important. Just work on a project that maybe will span a month or so, working on a specific goal, whether it's I'm going to improve on my ZBrush, I'm going to improve my rendering in Marmoset, I'm going to improve in my modeling in Maya, I'm going to improve my texturing and Substance. Like, you have to just pick a specific goal and kind of try and work on it. Know what the project's what the goal is for that project and why you're doing the project. And if you are working on a big project, like I'm working on a big environment, for example, right? Let's break down the big project into smaller chunks. That way, each step that you reach, like you finish the block out stage, you finish the first pass modeling stage, you finish the first pass texturing phase, you finish set dressing. Like, every single step that you take, make that as a goal. I'm going to hit this by this month, I'm going to hit this by this week, I'm going to hit this by this day. And then each time you hit it, you give yourself a reward. Okay, so I think that's really, really important. So hopefully that answers your questions on tips on keeping your energy level up, and just kind of setting goals for yourself. Now I have another question here by Sanfue. Sorry, I'm so sorry if I'm butchering these names. I'd really like to see a video on tips to get into the game industry. I'm trying to get jobs right now while I'm working on my portfolio, but I just don't know where to look. I don't find any search engine for games and industry. I would really appreciate if you could cover that. I love your videos. I've learned so much. Thank you for taking the time to make this video. No problem, Sanfue. And yeah, let me give you some tips, okay? So this is like pretty big topic, right? This is a huge topic. And fortunately for you guys, there are tons of articles out there on the internet that kind of cover this already. So I'm just going to kind of give you my take on it, and then I'm going to also give you a bunch of articles and stuff like that to check out. And hopefully that helps you even more. Okay, so first off, I'm going to go through what I would do. Okay, so first and foremost, just continue, keep doing what you're doing, right, with your portfolio. Keep working on your art. That's the only way you're gonna get better. That's the only way you're gonna improve. I keep telling this to my students. Your first environment is not going to be as good as your second environment. Your second environment is not going to be as good as your third, your fourth, your fifth, go so on and so forth, right? So I think it's important for you to keep that in mind, right? The more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. And I know it's tough, right, to get your first job. That's the hardest part, is breaking into the industry, right? So keep learning, right? That's the first big step, is keep learning. So I have, let me show you guys this here. So Noman YouTube channel is like huge, okay? If you haven't subscribed to it already, subscribe to it. Me, as a professional, I find that this is such a huge resource. So go there, okay? Learn, keep learning. Guess what? I have the video. One of the videos that I was going to tell you guys to go watch is Noman has a specific video on this, where they have 4 professionals talking about their journey and how they got into the industry. That's huge, okay? They're essentially sharing their knowledge. Not only that, Noman has tons of these types of videos on their website, okay? Go there, check it out, okay? Another website that I love going to is 80 Level, okay? These guys, like, it's professionals and new grads who have phenomenal portfolio work, who are posting on this website, breaking down how they do things, okay? Amazing stuff. Check out 80.level. ArtStation, if you haven't already, okay? Get an ArtStation profile. If you're not on there, okay, at least look at their magazine, okay? If you go to ArtStation, you go to magazine, oh, sorry. So if you just go to ArtStation, and just go to magazine here, like, there's tons of awesome articles in here, okay? And I'll go through some with you guys in a bit, okay? And then CG Society. This used to be my go-to when I was in school, but like I was telling you guys, it's now you have 80 Level, you have ArtStation. These ArtStation and 80 Level has kind of taken over for me when it comes to video game industry kind of websites and learnings. but it's still worth taking a look at it, because you have to kind of be open to the idea of maybe working in film for a few contracts or whatever to get the experience, right? Like, you can't shut yourself off of video games if you're finding that you need to open up your doors to other opportunities. Okay, so where do you find job postings? Now this is a good one. Okay, that you had a question for. So hold on there. So, oh wait, what am I doing? Hold on, give me a sec. So, I mean, LinkedIn, right? That's, I think, the obvious one. Make sure that you have a LinkedIn profile. Join, there's lots of recruiters online, right? Get to know them, get to know and talk to them, right? I think that that's huge. So I probably shouldn't be in my LinkedIn like that. So LinkedIn, great place to check out job postings. Glassdoor, if you guys haven't heard of Glassdoor before, this is huge in North America. I think, I don't know if it's like worldwide or not. It shows you all the different jobs in your area, or which, like, you get to choose your location, what's the job title that you're looking for. Tons of stuff here, right? So if you're looking for like environment artists, right, in Vancouver, they'll give you just a list of all these, what they think is probably what you're looking for, and like, the new apply, easily apply, and just like apply to these things, right? And best of luck, right? Polycount forums, okay, this is huge too. Go to Polycount forums. There's like a freelance or job section or something like that in here. This is a great way to get some freelance jobs on the go, right? So check this out. Freelance jobs, full-time, part-time work, like the great place to kind of check this stuff out. And then just make an ArtStation, right? Again, this goes back to ArtStation, because they have a job section in here, right? And again, okay, so there's tons of resources, and hopefully that this helps you out to kind of expose you to how to find jobs in the industry. And I mean, let's be honest here, guys. You want to get into an industry that's like, it's fun to be in, right? Like, people, there's so much want to be in this industry that you're competing with a lot of people. So just keep working hard, right? Work hard, and the rewards will come. Okay. Third advice, okay, number 3 is let me see here. So let me switch back here. So my third advice is grow your network. Okay, you need to grow your network. If you're self-taught and you're doing everything at home, that is one of the negative things of just working at home, right? Is that you don't grow your network, right? You're growing your network essentially online, which is fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But that's one of the cons of just learning at home, right? Is that you don't get face-to-face time with instructors, with peers that you're learning from school, and meeting people that are either, one, already in the industry, or two, are your peers that get hired, right? And that's your foot in the door, right? So I feel that that's one of the cons of not going to a school, right? But there's ways around that, okay? And this is what I'm going to show you. So you need to go to networking events, like at your local, in your local city. If you're at a city that doesn't have local events, networking events, job fairs and stuff like that for video games, it might be time for you to start thinking about, okay, where do I want to live that is like a hub for video games industry stuff, right? So I'm very fortunate that Vancouver has tons of video game studios here. So I'm very, very fortunate, right? But if I wasn't as fortunate and I was in some town, a small town somewhere, I would have moved to Montreal or Toronto or Vancouver, just to kind of like make sure that I'm exposing myself and being inside a hub full of video game industry people, right? So go to local meetups, right? Lots of people have lots of that. Industry job fairs, like I was saying before. Join game jams. Join local game jams. or just in general, just join game jams. If there's an online one, do it. If there's a, like, I think that's really, really important, because now you're actually building a game with people building your network, right? Build an online reputation. I think this is really important note. When you're posting up your work, you want people to look at your work and be like, especially if you're new, right? People are going to give you critiques and feedback, this and that. You want to be receptive to that kind of stuff, okay? You want to build that reputation that this is someone that's taking my feedback really well, and they're improving a lot, and they're taking a lot of my feedback to heart, and they're putting it into their work, because that's what happens in the studio, right? When your art director gives you feedback and critiques, they need to know that you're not going to take it personally, that you're going to put it, and you're going to take what they have said into consideration to help improve on the art, okay? So build that reputation. Have the reputation that you're working hard, right? You work hard. You can work with people. So those are really important things. Join game mod teams, okay? So there's this website called, let me switch this over again. There's this thing called, what is it, ModDB, I think. It was way back in the day when I was in school. This was really popular. I don't know how popular this is nowadays, but ModDB, tons of mods that are going on, and sign up for some. You know what I mean? Like, go and look and see what people are modding, and whatever looks interesting to you, message them. Be like, hey, yo, I'm a student. I finished my classes or whatever. This is my portfolio. I would love to help you guys build a mod, or just get that experience. You need that experience on your resume, right? That's what's important. You need to show that you've been inside some sort of game, organized team of some sort, and this is your thing that you've been doing on the side. This is what you have to show for it. It's really important, okay? And then last but not least, for this grow your network, ArtStation. Let's just go to ArtStation. How long have I been recording for? 20 minutes. Challenges. Join challenges. Join contests, online contests. This is how you get your name out there. This is how people will see your work, right? Is through contests and challenges, especially if you are self-taught or looking for inspiration for your portfolio. And this is a great way for people to kind of, like, there's tons of feedback that goes on during these challenges, and you collaborate with people, right? So ArtStation, great place for challenges. They've been doing challenges for quite a while. This year they've been phenomenal at doing challenges. So do this, okay? Check that out. All right, and then the last tip, and I think this is a tip that kind of gets said a lot, is, hold on, master your craft. Okay, this is so important. Master your craft. Modeling, texturing, sculpting, right? Game engine knowledge. Those are the 4 things that are so important as a game artist. Usually and typically, a student of the games industry, they focus a lot on their modeling first, right? Good, right? Become a great modeler, okay? Be confident that if I give you a concept art of something, you're gonna be able to model it, and model it efficiently, okay? Texturing is the next thing, right? So this is kind of like the order, right? That students kind of go through modeling, and then they learn texturing, right? Be a very good texture artist, right? Understand PBR, okay? And then sculpting is usually the next, and then game engine knowledge, right? And if you have a solid foundation for all 4, then you're in good hands, okay? If you can model great, do a decent to good texture, your sculpting is all right, your game engine knowledge is great, or even introductory, like you can put an asset into Unreal, into Unity, put a light in it, render it, like that right there is already a big step, because most students just do modeling, texturing, render in Maya, right? Like they'll do Arnold rendering or mental ray or whatever, right? And it's like, okay, that's what they were taught because, you know, the school program is so fast and so intense that they kind of skip out on the game engine part. Render and show your stuff in game engine. It is way more impressive to see it in game than it is to see it in Arnold or and remember, this is just for video games, right? For film, that makes sense. Render in Arnold, render in all these rendering engines, right? But for video games, focus on game engines. Okay. Not last but not least, but another point I want to bring up here is, that being said, do not stress about learning multiple software. Now, this is just an example, okay? There's tons of 3D modeling software. You can model in ZBrush, you can model in Maya, you can model in 3D Studio Max, you can model in Modo, right? And then all these other softwares, Blender and stuff like that, right? Pick one, master it, right? Now, be smart about picking one. Don't pick one that no one uses in studios, right? And I'm sure there's tons of those other free 3D software and stuff like that, right? Blender is an exception, I think, because Blender is starting to become industry standard. But most studios that I have heard of on their job descriptions and stuff like that, it doesn't list Blender, right? It lists Maya, Modo, and 3D Studio Max, right? So pick one, master it there. Okay, if you are pretty good at Blender, stick with it then. Be really good at Blender. Understand Blender inside out, right? So one software for modeling, stick to that. One for texturing. If you use Quixel, stick with Quixel for now, right? If you use Painter, use Substance Painter, right? For sculpting, same thing. ZBrush, Mudbox, pick one, master it, and then one game engine. Okay, Unity, Unreal, right? And then there's one more. I like to render in Marmoset Toolbag myself. Okay, that to me personally, I think is like lower on the list, because again, like I said, studios love to see things in game engine, but Marmoset Toolbag I think is kind of like that in between. Fastest way to get a job in industry is making your portfolio stand out and your portfolio to be seen. Okay, if people can't see your portfolio, if people can't see your artwork, you're not gonna get hired. Okay, really, really important. Last point, and I wrote this down 3 times. Portfolio, portfolio, portfolio. Everything comes down to your portfolio. Okay, you getting an interview is because of your portfolio. The interview process is then for them to see how your personality is, right? Is this person weird? Cool, awesome that you're weird. Are you too weird for our studio? You know what I mean? That is what they're trying to find out. How is this person's social skills? Does this person interrupt me every single time I'm trying to talk to them? Is this person listening? Is this person approachable? Do you know what I mean? Like, these are all things that happens in the interview. But before you even get the interview, you need to pass the visual test, which is your portfolio. Okay? So I'm going to share 3 things with you guys. Okay, this video, how to break into the industry from Noman. This is part 1. They have 4 parts. Amazing. 4 different artists. I think one from Blizzard, one from ILM, one from Disney, and one from Treyarch. It's Call of Duty. Okay, awesome. Check it out. 10 do's and don'ts for landing a job at the game studio. Okay, this is from ArtStation. Really good. Really, really good information here. I would love to go through all this stuff, but here, you know, you guys can read it yourselves. This one I found so useful, and I know that it's he is a character hiring artist, HR, right, for character art. But I think I would say 90% of what he's saying, I agree with 80 to 90% of what he says here. Okay, so I think it's so important to go through this. I think for this one I might go through it because this is pretty good. 60% are irrelevant. So 60% of people who apply for a job, it's actually irrelevant to the actual job posting. 30% are close but need to improve their skills. 30%, okay, of people who apply for a job posting. 9% are within the ballpark. only 1% actually get the interview. So he goes into more details. I'm just kind of paraphrasing. Great article. Great article. It talks about presentation, and again, right? Let your work speak for you, right? Really important. No demo reels. This kind of surprised me. I don't know if I fully agree with this. I do agree that we prefer really nice images and just like show us your breakdowns, right? Contact information, totally agree, needs to be visible. What should I make? You know, so he goes through this whole thing, and I think that it's really important that you kind of go through it yourselves and read through it. Okay, so 10 do's and don'ts for landing a job at the game studio, and what game recruiters think about your application. Okay, so sorry. So let's move this along the way. So I hope that answers your question. Sorry, that was super long. For tips on getting into the games industry. Okay. So I have one more here. Okay. No, I have two more. Action 1337. Hey Dallas, many thanks for creating your awesome YouTube channel. Thank you. I am learning 3D art at the moment, and my goal is to get into the games industry as soon as I am good enough. So I really like environment design, including texturing and creating props, but I have some questions about that. I assume you work most times for existing concepts in the industry. So is it bad for your portfolio when you create your own concept art first and then model it? Currently, I'm creating a Vikings inspired. So let me just answer this question here. So is it so this is super long, I'm sorry. Let me just change this scene here so you guys aren't so bored. Okay. I have some questions. I assume that you work most times from existing concepts in the industry. So that's not always true. You do work, I'd say it depends on your team, right? If you have a huge concept team, like I work at EA, so we're a AAA studio, big budget, so it's very different compared to a smaller studio. Okay. I wouldn't say that we always work from concept art. Lots of times we actually have the freedom to kind of experiment and create our own designs, and make our own concepts. Okay. We do get guidance, like we'll have some like style guides or like call out sheets and stuff like that, where it's like, hey, so this is kind of the metal that we kind of looking for, this is kind of the design that we're thinking of, and maybe try this shape out and stuff like that. So we get kind of like a small little guide, and then sometimes we're able to be like, all right, now go experiment, come up with some cool ideas, come back and we'll review it, right? So so we don't always get concept art. Okay. So hopefully I can dispel that that myth that everyone has, like we always get concept art. It's not always the case. And you said something about, so is it bad for your portfolio when you create your own concept art first and then model it? No, totally not bad at all. If that's a skill that you actually have and you're really good at it, do it for sure. But if you're not very good at designing stuff, especially if you're learning, there's nothing wrong with working off a concept, right? Because that's sometimes what happens. Sometimes you do get a concept art. It's like, make this. You got to be able to make it. If you can't make what's been drawn for you, then there's a problem, right? Currently, I'm recreating a Viking-inspired axe, and I did my own concept art for that. Creating a concept was really fun, but I think you won't do that professionally, right? Again, I hope that answers your question. It depends. If someone's like, make an axe, this is going to be for Dragon Age or something, right? We kind of have this concept art, but we did this last year. We don't have time to concept a newer piece, make it sci-fi, right? That's up to me. I didn't know. I'm terrible at sketching. I'm not very good at sketching, so I do a lot of my concepting in 3D, with like ZBrush and Maya and stuff like that. And I'm assuming I want to create my next project an environment for existing concept art. Can I just use anything I like from ArtStation? For example, I really love the concept art for Deus Ex and Thief, and would love to model based on something from that. Yes, of course, I would ask the creator first, give proper credit, but I'm not sure we respond at all because they might not be able to give permission because of copyrights and so on. Or is it better to create something from concepts which have nothing to do with existing IPs? Nope, I say go for it, man. If you really like Deus Ex, you really like Thief, you love a concept art, do it, right? call it fan art. Based less copy. I could imagine if you use concept art from existing games and current levels based on it, that is more or less a copy fan art, and an HR guy could think, well, he just copied the game level. Maybe finding concepts which didn't make a game would be a solution. I should avoid creating characters at all costs when aiming for. Okay, so yes. So let me answer the first question. Concept art, do it. So what if it's a existing IP? So what if it already exists, right? The HR guy is gonna be like, holy cow, this person loves our game this much that he made this environment based off of our game, right? If it's really good, you might even get extra eyes on it, right? You can be like, oh wow, this person did this really, really well. Look at this level that he made. Maybe we should consider hiring him. You know what I mean? I don't think that it's a negative thing. Like, I don't know if this is, maybe a lot of people have this perception that you should not be why I think what's important about making art, especially off of concept, something that I've learned in the industry is that you can never make it exactly like the concept art, typically, right? It depends on the concept art. If it's a mood piece, then you definitely can't. If it's a actual like layout, where like a concept artist is actually like making, like concepting you the walls, the ceiling, the floors, and like concepting it for you modularly, and then telling you that this is a wall piece, this is the end piece, this is the corner piece, this is the, like, if they're drawing it out like that, then sure. But I think what you're talking about is like a cool concept art, like a mood piece that a concept artist was asked to kind of create, and you're gonna break it down now into modular pieces to make your scene, right? So what makes that interesting is now people from Deus Ex or Thief are gonna look at what you've created and be like, how did this person break it down into modular pieces and make a level in Unreal with these pieces, right? That is what's gonna be impressive. That's, people are gonna be like, holy cow, like this looks awesome, the fact that this person did this. But yeah, I mean, say that it's concept art from Deus Ex, say it's concept art from Thief, right? Don't hide it, don't, because I think that passion is going to help you, right? So yeah, no, don't be scared to do that. If that's what inspires you and helps push you and makes you work on your 3D art, do it, right? And best of luck. Then your last question was, I hope this is not too many questions. You said, last question, I should avoid creating a character at all costs when my aim is to work in an environment artist. Yes. Obviously, if you're in school, right, like you have a character modeling class, and the reason why lots of like schools like AI and all that stuff, the Arts Institute and other art schools do this, is because they want to expose you to everything to see which one you like, right? And so that you understand when a character artist starts talking to you, you're not just like I don't know what you're talking about. What the hell's rigging? What the hell's weighting? What the hell's, this and that? So that's why they kind of teach you it, so that you can have conversations with character artists. But yes, I mean, if you want to be an environment artist, like, focus on environment art. Don't. I mean, go ahead, have fun and do character stuff, right? But don't put that on your portfolio if it's not good. You know what I mean? If your focus is on environment art, there's so much stuff to learn when it comes to environment art. Focus on that. Get good at that, right? Why are you spreading your wings into different directions? Unless your passion is in characters, then maybe you shouldn't be doing environment, right? So yeah, in my opinion, if you're not a professional yet in the industry and you're trying to get in, focus on environment art. Okay, and then I think my last question, and this was. Hold on, I think it was quite a long one. Here we go. Scene. All right. Hey Dallas, glad you started making videos again. You're welcome. In your last video, suggestions and questions, this is what you're doing. I've been modeling for about a year now as an asset modeler specializing in weapons, and I've started looking for opportunities to intern at companies for better knowledge of the industry, and EA is one of them. I've always held a thank you. And I wanted to know what the process for interning is as a 3D modeler. Okay, so first off, interning. Okay, they do have job postings and stuff like that for interns. Okay, you just gotta look for it. I think I literally saw one the other day on Glassdoor. I think Glassdoor for interning. Intern 3D artist intern. Yeah, like just go to Glassdoor, type in Vancouver. Did I 3D? Okay, I lie. I might not have seen that on Glassdoor. But yeah, no, like I know that there is internships for sure. But to be honest with you, I feel like it's important that you need to go attack those. You need to contact all these companies, show them your portfolio, be like, hey, I want to intern, right? How does your internship work? How does interning for your studio work, right? Go and approach them, okay? Don't sit back and wait, okay? Because lots of studios might not be looking for it at the moment, but this way they give you the exact answer, right, on how internships and stuff like that work. So yeah, so when it comes to internships, go and do that. I am currently still working at EA. My teaching gig is only part-time, and my teaching gig, I have literally 2 weeks left of my teaching gig, and that's it. You also live in Vancouver. That's awesome. About 30 minutes away from EA office. Dude, there's tons of studios here. Capcom is across the street from, not across the street, but they're pretty close to us as well. Check them out. I'm currently reaching out to some other employees. Cool, good job. When it comes to giving facility tours, I would love to give you a tour. The only problem is, again, is the fact that I don't really know you yet, right? And I would love to give you a tour. Maybe if I see some more, if I see you a little bit more active inside the community and on my channel and stuff like that, maybe we can talk offline about that. But again, I can't just give tours to everyone. I want to give tours to people that I kind of know. I know a year in most people's eyes for modeling as an intern at a company like EA is not much, considering that most people go through 4 years in university, but I can assure you I've worked 10 times as hard as any university student 1 year than most in 4. That's awesome, man. I'm really glad that you're super pumped and that you are really dedicated to your craft. And I think that dedication is only going to get better, or is only going to help you get better. So that's good. Modeling every single day. The programs I use: 3D Studio Max, Fusion 360, Painter, Photoshop, ZBrush. If you could tell me the programs. So unfortunately, I can't actually say the programs that I use at EA. I think the best way to answer this question, and a lot of people don't seem to know this, go to the companies. Okay, line up all of the studios that are in Vancouver. Okay, go check out their job postings. So here, let me give you an example. Okay, so let's go here. So sorry, yes, this is your comment here. So let's say you go to Glassdoor, right? And let's go to 3D modeler in Vancouver. And so what you want to do is let's say, so you want video games, right? So Blackbird Interactive, Intermediate 3D Artists, Sky. No, you probably don't want that. You probably, it's a character one. So Skybox Labs, Environment Modeler. Okay, so there. So I've just lined up a bunch. Okay, 3D environment artists. I know Capcom. I'm pretty sure I saw Capcom. So if I go to Burnaby, because right now it says Vancouver, right? If I go to Burnaby, because that's where. If you go to Burnaby, you're gonna get like a bunch of these, right? You're gonna get LucasArts, 3D Generalist, blah blah blah. I know that there's. See, again, it's in my LinkedIn, right? Because I know a bunch of people at Capcom, or who have worked at Capcom, so I see a bunch of this kind of stuff. I know that Capcom is hiring right now. But yeah, you just want to take a look at this, right? Like qualifications. These guys want 3D Studio Max. Cool. You have 3D Studio Max. Awesome. These guys, what do they want? No requirements. Okay. So nope. These guys, 3D Studio Max, Blackbird Interactive. What does it say here? 3D modeling, 3D Studio Max, Maya. So they like look, right? Take a look at what the requirements are at the studios that you're looking at. Plants vs Zombies. So that's EA, obviously. So yeah, take a look at that. Break it down. I personally can't. I don't think I can say what we're using, unfortunately. And something that I learned about this industry is if I don't know, don't say it. Okay, something that I've learned. So I don't know if I can say it, so I'm not gonna say it. Okay, but you're on the right track. That's all I can say. You're on the right track. Don't worry too much about the 3D programs. You're gonna be able to learn the 3D programs of if you need to. Okay. Lastly, your portfolio. So I said I'm gonna go over your portfolio. So let's go over your portfolio here. Okay. So your portfolio. So yeah, man, like I love your work when it comes to your art. Like you have great detail, right? Now for this piece, I feel like this kind of wearing, I feel should be on this, especially if you're gonna be holding the gun, right? I feel like where your wear and tear is makes sense, but like for this area, you're gonna be holding this so often. I'm assuming that this is probably gonna fade out a lot more. Like it should be, especially if you're holding this. I feel like you're holding this like you're holding like you're holding it like this. So I would imagine that this area would start to get some wear and tear as well, kind of like this, okay, where the handle is. But overall though, I think like the details there, right? And I think your modeling skills is obviously there. Right, you show all that stuff, which is great. This is really cool. I want to see the wireframe. Whoa. Where's the wireframe? Is this the wireframe? No, I don't think that's the wireframe. So this is cool. I love this. There you go. There's topology. I want to see the topology. Yeah, I mean, you know. Lots of details in here, but I mean, like all these little small details, I'd probably be, you know, I'd probably see if you need it. I mean, I guess you do to get this kind of popping. But I mean, other than that, I mean, I think presentation. I mean, the thing is this is when you finally get into the industry and you're working with a lead weapons artist, they're gonna pick this apart and make you better, right? So what you have here as a student of 3D is phenomenal. Okay. Yeah, like presentation is great, detail is good, right? Like you're in my opinion, I think you are a weapons artist, right? And you're really good at it. You're obviously very passionate about it, which is great. Okay, and as long as there is a junior weapons artist or something available, then like I can see you getting a phone call at least, right? To get at least an interview. And then you also have a bunch of cool kind of props here, right? That's cool. Right, so you got some cool details and stuff going on. Great work, right? What's lacking, in my opinion, is actually not your detail in props, because you obviously have a great eye for and great detail for props, but essentially all I'm seeing is props, right? And even on my ArtStation right now, all I have is props. I have a bunch of levels and stuff like that that I've done, that I've helped create in Garden Warfare 2. But I think that's what's lacking here, is that, cool, you can create assets, okay? Can you put assets together to make a scene, right? Cool, you can do this stuff in Marmoset. Toolbag, render it, everything looks awesome, right? Can you do this in Unreal? Can you do this in Unity? Can you make it look just as good in the game engine, right? And I think that's honestly what's lacking, is because right now, currently, you are only a prop modeler. That's it. That, like, when I look at your stuff, I'm like, yeah, this guy's a really good prop modeler. But how does he put things into a scene? How is his overall composition? Does he understand what it's like to make a full scene, right? Like, these are things that are coming out of my mind when I look at this portfolio. If I was hiring for a weapons artist, cool, you'd get a phone call, 100%. Then it comes down to your personality, who you are, and this and that. There's not too many times where we're gonna just hire a prop artist, right? It's not often, okay? Google's XL, I think it's a cool name, but I think people want to know your name. Who are you as a person, right? That's why if you look at my ArtStation, it's Dal Stone. You look at a bunch of other artists, it's their full names, it's their real names, right? Because we want people to know that we are real, right? Google's XL, to me, I don't know what is Google's your first name? Maybe is XL your last name? I don't know, right? So that's just more of like an overall comment with your profile. But yeah, I think you have all this awesome detail. I think you need to make a little small scene to kind of tie a lot of this stuff together, to showcase that you can do an environment, that you can put a small scene together, because I mean, obviously you have the detail for props and stuff like that, but to open up more doors and opportunities for you as an environment modeler, I think you need to show that. Because right now, honestly, I look at this stuff, you're a weapons and prop specific artist, and there's not too many jobs for that. You can probably get some good freelancing jobs doing this, putting a bunch of this stuff on Turbo Squid or something like that, right? You can make some pretty decent cash, I think. But for now, you have the skill. It's just I think broadening up your opportunity, opening up more doors for you is going to help you more getting the door into the industry. Okay, so I think that's really, really important. I love the fact that you're like, just be brutally honest. Like, that's awesome, right? To me, that's like, okay, this guy, like, this is the attitude that you need to become a good artist, to work in the industry, right? So I think that's cool. But yeah, I think that is pretty much all the questions you guys have. Thank you guys so much for all the support, and I just want to say, if you guys have any more questions and stuff like that, throw into the comments, okay? And what I'll do is I'll collect a bunch of these questions and stuff like that. I'll make these Q&A videos for you guys, and I'll post them up. It seems like so far my schedule is every Mondays, so expect videos every Mondays. I think I'm going to push this video to this upcoming Monday, and then I'll push the modeling one to the next week. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. See you guys.